Alright guys, Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons, and what I've got for you here is a reaction analysis video for, I would pronounce this Wagakki, being Scottish, but I suspect it's probably meant to be more like Wagakki, with an accent more kind of going up and less Wagakki, you know? Just have to remember I'm talking to people out with my local area, so I can't just go into the pub and go, here pal, you heard that Wagakki? Bonus points for anyone that can translate that sentence as well. It shouldn't be too hard for some of you. But yeah, this is their song. I don't know if I can even try this one. Senbonzakura. So rather than let's try and Senbonzakura, let's try and go for something like that. Please correct my butchered pronunciations down in the comments. If you want to see more butchered pronunciations, don't forget to hit subscribe and do the likes and comments and all that sort of stuff. If you want to see more of this band or anything else, hit me up in the comments. If you have any specific requests or just want to chuck some money in the tip jar to support the channel, consider joining Patreon, which you can get a link to down there, patreon.com/JBFmusic. All the support is greatly appreciated. But yeah, they are featuring Amy Lee from, I think she was from Evanescence. I don't know if she still sings with him. I have no idea. It's a band I've not kept up with at all. But yeah, far too much for me as per usual. So let's just go for it. So I think it sounds like it's the end of the song leading into the next one. Might be the final song then. That's it. Okay, this is cool. Oh wow. Like a full orchestra there as well. Well, not a full one, but significant. Oh wow, this is a huge sound. So they're mixing in traditional elements. A bit more kind of J-rock feel. Really cinematic as well. Beautiful, beautiful compositions. Cool guitar tones. Stagecraft as well, they're really good at this. They're kind of, you know, everyone dressing up similar, even the fan. Simple prop. Incredibly effective. Okay, I'm loath to pause, but there's a few things I want to point out here. So if we jot back a bit here, I've gone back too far. Where am I? So like here, you can see this kind of sheet of perspex here, and that's because the drums are an incredibly loud instrument. So if you shield the drummer, if you can close them in a case, it helps keep the noise in, and it means it doesn't travel about the stage as much. It's a thing that you start to see in rock concerts a bit more as well. Sometimes they'll just have a perspex sheet in front of the drummer, and it does help with the sound, kind of, particularly if it's something like this where there's loads of instruments to mic up. You want to get the sound as concise as possible. You want to just get that instrument. So the more you can isolate things while still making it feel like a band, because you don't want to stick the drummer backstage. They'll be having none of that. That's one way to do it, is just to physically put up a barrier to limit the sound being able to pass through the air, right? And that fantastic jump he did there, I might be mistaken here, but I think he's playing a shakuhachi, which is like a Japanese type of flute. It's a really beautiful sound from it. I could be totally wrong there, and I probably butchered the pronunciation again, so a flood of corrections in the comments, please. It's a lot. It just looks like everyone's having a whale of a time. It's such a cool sound with all the instruments working together. It makes the stab so. Again, this kind of like subtle choreographing. Nice. It's reminding me a tiny bit There's a band called Salsa Celtica, and they mix together kind of salsa stuff with more traditional Scottish and Celtic folk music, and there's a similar fun vibe, as well as this kind of fusion of taking something more traditional and maybe modernising it and twisting it with something else, you know. Oh, beautiful. So I think that's a koto, but correct me if I'm wrong. I have no idea what instrument this is, but I want to find out. Yeah, it's this time to shine. Ooh. Okay, that was really cool. The tapping solo that the guitarist did there. I'm not going to be able to work it out verbatim in this exact second, but that's a great way to get that kind of a smoother tone, right? Because the preceding solo was just done these really lovely fluid arpeggios in this kind of like breathy but smooth way. If you're on a guitar and you start doing that, you know, that stuff, it's probably not going to work in this context. So something like using the neck pickup, using legato, so like using the left hand and not picking much, sounds smoother than if you know, pick every note on the bridge pickup. I'm exaggerating it to make a point here. But again, instead of picking notes with the right hand, if we instead tap them, you get this more kind of fluid cascading thing. It's easier to get the speed on it, as you probably noticed there. And it's also a good way to get arpeggios, because on guitar they're quite difficult to play on one string. So like if I want to play a G major arpeggio, for example, on this B string, it's doable, but it's not particularly comfortable, right? What I could do is just tap that note there, and it makes the thing much more achievable. It creates this more kind of fluid, smooth tone as well, right? So watch out for that. Brilliant. So I'm going to pause and go back here. The bassist started picking, you can see it here, great, if it's landed on the right frame, really close to the bridge, right? Really, really there, and that's going to produce a spankier tone. It's going to make it cut, and I think that's why the camera went here, because they wanted the bass to pop out, because you hear it, and then because she's near the bridge, it's going to make it pop out more, and when the camera cuts to it, it makes you focus on it, right? Right? You even got a conductor, brilliant. Oh, here she comes, right. Lovely dynamic drop as well. I like that she's changed her image so the stylization still works with the band. An infectious joy just emanating from the performance. I'm putting that back because these are spectacular vocal chops these two are displaying here. Some beautiful vibrato and sustain notes. Let's listen to that more closely. I'll shut up for a bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this back again because she had this really wide vibrato that I really liked, so I'll explain what vibrato is on the guitar as well and how to sort of emulate it a bit. But is it around here? What note's she at? Somewhere around here. So the only way to get that kind of beautiful vibrato vocal style on a guitar is with a whammy bar. I've recently started playing with it again. I took it out for a good while because it makes tuning a pain when I'm on a guitar, but it's back in for the time being. So playing that note, this bar lets me go above and below the target pitch, which is how she's getting that lovely fluttering. type of vibrato that I'm nowhere near a good enough vocalist to be able to demonstrate that. And then you've got Amy Lee doing this nice descending thing underneath. And it is a very, from my limited understanding of traditional Japanese music, that type of vibrato is very common and it's a beautiful technique. That's such a good hook. Was she supporting them? Is that just like a final little cameo, or is she just on to do this one bit? Do let me know. Yeah. Ah, brilliant. That was really good fun. Definitely want to check out more of that. Hey, let me know. Let me know what I should look at next from them. That was really good. Ah, good. Everyone's getting a nice round of applause as well. Thoroughly deserved. Brilliant. Alright, so what I want to look at here is maybe more of a compositional thing. I'm using the guitar as a medium to kind of express it. So this really cool hook they have that's basically going, which I think was an E to a D. Great little hook. So in terms of the notes, we're basically going E, E, D to an E. So because there's so many instruments playing, they could all just play different E's. So there's an E here, an E here, and an E here. So I could play those together. I can go down to, these are all D's, right? A D, D, and a D. And back up to the E. So you can hear already, when I add in the extra octaves, it's much bigger than... But what the instruments are doing is, rather than just playing the note, it sounds to me like, anyway, I could be mistaken here, but it sounds like they're doing harmonies and implying a chord. So the harmony would be a G to an F sharp, and back up to a G, which is the third above the E and the D respectively. Okay, so G is a minor third above E, and F sharp is a minor third above D. And what this does is, while I don't know if any instrument's actually playing a chord, it might be, but very quietly in the mix, we're getting the impact of a chord. So we're getting an E minor to a D, back to the E minor, right? The other note that might be hidden in here to help imply that chord is the fifth. So we're going to go up a fifth from E, we get to B. So it's going to go B, B, and an A, which is a fifth above D, and back to the A. So you have those notes. And again, you can hear when I compare it to on my big octave. Just about stretch that and no more. This again sounds bigger, richer, and fuller. Now imagine that concept of taking these notes, not playing it as a chord, just single notes, but getting the different instruments to play those notes. So you'll have some sections that are doing what you'd call the root, the E to the D. You'd have some playing the third. That was the G to the F sharp. And you'll probably have some doing the fifth as well, which I couldn't totally make out, but I think it was in there, which would be the B to the A. And great composers, Frank Zappa's actually surprisingly good at this as well, are able to figure out through years of experience and also a level of intuition when they get to like the level that you need to be able to write something as cool as this, about which instruments will handle which note best, where they want to put the note, like where they want it really high in the octave, like really up, or they want it to do more of a kind of lower, or indeed somewhere in between. So it's these three notes, but just spread among all the instruments, and because they're played in unison at the same time, that bam, 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 bam rhythm is just so incredibly effective. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, hit subscribe. You can check out more reaction analysis videos there, more guitar-oriented things there. And if you like what I'm doing, want to chuck some money in the virtual tip jar or support the channel, please consider joining Patreon. But take it easy, guys, and have a good one.